Jason?
What's the word of the day?
Nearshoring.
Nearshoring. I have learned something new today. It's not how far out I go in the ocean.
You need phone books to sit on.
I know.
Come on.
I'll sit up straight then. All right.
I'll slouch a little bit. I'll do this.
I'll posture.
There
we go.
What the hell? Somebody's here looking for Val. People just wandered through our office randomly.
Yeah. Usually to use the bathroom or get some free soda and some beef jerky.
So welcome back to another episode of Driver to Driver, the video version. Mark Lawvers, General Manager of Stokes Trucking, joined again today by
Jason Douglas, a Director of Retention and Recruiting. And on that note, we got new trucks and we are filling them. So we are growing.
We do have new trucks. He says we're filling them.
Well, we filled one.
Well,
We have drivers for them all.
one's better than none.
Yeah. They're getting full as they're coming along.
There you go.
Anyway.
So what are we gonna cover today for topics?
Well, our first topic, this was hard because the data was so hard to gather that we didn't really get weekly updates.
Yeah.
But everyone was aware we had 30 people in our fuel mileage contest for quarter one of 2024.
Excellent.
So we had 30 drivers participate. We matched them up really pretty close. There were some people that requested to be matched up against a buddy or a partner or a spouse, and some others we just kind of matched that went in the same direction. And yeah, there were some that were as close as less than 1/10 of a mile per gallon.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
I'll let you announce kind of our winner and our highest.
Okay, so the contest was head-to-head actual fuel mileage. So we weren't going off ECM numbers. We had to gather up their fueling data for the quarter, their actual miles driven, do the math, and figure out what they actually got for MPG for the quarter
So we actually did gallons pumped
versus
per
miles driven. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because we do see some variation, both good and bad, in the ECM data. Sometimes it'll read high, sometimes it'll read low. So this is as accurate as you're going to get for miles per gallon. Anybody who watches this that has a PACCAR product that's got a Cummins in it, your ECM's lying to you about your fuel mileage. Just FYI, it's off by at least 10%, if not 20.
You're not getting 8.9.
No, you're not. Anyway, so when we do all that math, we did have one driver that broke 8 miles per gallon for the quarter. So he's our top overall. And that driver is going to get not just $250, he's going to get $500 for being the top overall. And that driver was Preston Maloney. He averaged 8.16 for the quarter.
Excellent job, Preston.
Way to go, buddy. He also ran the most miles of everyone last quarter, 42,204. Actually 5. We'll round that up.
Round it up. Very
And
impressive.
he did that at 62 miles an hour, running over Donner and chaining most weeks. So anyone who thinks it can't be done, Preston's the poster child for it can.
Follow Preston on a route and see how he runs.
So the contest really was head-to-head. The winner of each head-to-head gets $250, but we were also going to do a best of the rest.
Mm-hmm.
The person that went against Preston would have won most of the head-to-heads against someone else. That was Larry Nielsen. He averaged 7.58 for the quarter. So Larry's going to get $250. Everyone else, winner of a head-to-head, is going to get $250. Are you going to call them individually? How are you planning to let them know?
Yeah, I'll probably call everybody. I figured this would be a good time to. I'll probably mix it in with the quarterly reviews.
Okay.
When I do those, I'll probably do those next week.
Cool. Are you going to let anybody know how close they may have been? And
Yeah, if they
No
ask,
dice?
I'll tell them.
there was one that was amazingly close. I feel bad.
A trip or a heel, maybe.
Yeah, like honestly, 10 gallons. 10 gallons would have made the difference in that
On how they
particular
drove.
head-to-head. Anyway, Jason will cover that with the drivers. But good numbers overall. Most of our numbers were over 7. You could tell the drivers were trying. The
Yeah.
ones that were in the contest were really trying.
And if you're curious, before I call you, feel free to call, and I'll tell you then.
Okay. One thing you also can do if you're one of the winners, if you want to donate that to a charity, Stokes Trucking will match the amount.
Dollar for dollar,
Dollar
right?
for dollar, yeah. So if you're a winner of a head-to-head and you're going to get 250 and you'd prefer to donate that to a charity, tell us what charity and we'll send it directly to that charity.
There's a
We'll
lot
double
of
it.
good charities doing work right now.
Yep. So that'll put the Q1 contest to bed. You may be asking yourself if we're going to do a Q2 contest, and the answer is no.
Why is that, Mark?
Well, we need to work on our cruise control usage.
Yeah.
It's pretty low for some drivers.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I'm going to guess I don't know. I don't. I've got to guess that maybe it has to do with some of the safety systems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that for a fact. I know. Well, I know when I talk to certain drivers on the phone, I can hear it beeping, which tells me they're following whoever's in front of them too close. I know that for sure.
And that means it's overridden, right?
Yeah, they've overridden the cruise control if it's even set. Set that beeping will happen as soon as you're within. I can't remember if it's 1.5 or 1.2 seconds of following distance to the vehicle in front of you. Far too close. 65 miles an hour, 1.2 seconds is somewhere in the 100 feet range. And even our trucks with all disc brakes,
Mm-hmm.
it's still going to take about 280 feet for that truck to stop. So 1 second is far too close.
So, how do you think we should tackle on helping?
Well, I don't know. I guess we need to have conversations with the drivers that they're really obviously not using their cruise. So we've looked at the data for the first quarter, and sure enough, the drivers with towards the top in fuel mileage also are towards the top in cruise control percentage. As a matter of fact, I think Preston and Larry are the top two if we look at the entire third quarter. So there's certainly a correlation there. And the biggest thing with using the cruise is the safety systems that we spend quite a bit of money installing in the trucks don't function properly if the cruise control is not set. I mean, they will function, they will emergency stop, so it may mitigate an accident, but it's not going to prevent like it would if you had your cruise control set.
And on that note, I think we want to let anybody know that has questions or concerns. If it concerns you how they operate and you want to be educated a little more and go on a trial run with Troy and have him show you exactly how they work and the best ways to utilize them, we should definitely go that route because the numbers don't lie, and the lack of accidents and the major accidents that have gone down with carriers that use this safety equipment is drastic.
Yeah. So as far as the safety systems we have on our trucks, we've got everything we can possibly get on there, but it starts with forward-facing radar, which will try to keep your following distance. It defaults to 3.6 seconds. 3.6 seconds at 60 miles an hour is about 400 feet, right? So that's enough to stop. Today, we have the cruise speed and the pedal speed are set the same. What I'm going to say is if we don't see some improvement in cruise control usage, we're probably going to make a split there so that you can go faster on the cruise than you can on the pedal. I don't want to do that because that hinders drivability somewhat.
Sure.
However, if we can't get our cruise control usage up, it's going to be the only way, I think, to encourage it. Those drivers that are towards the top are using their cruise 60 to 70% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
We certainly are averaging less than 50% as a fleet, and we've got some drivers that are less than 10. And we can't have that. So for whatever reason you're not using it, let's have a conversation about it and see, maybe it's a training thing. Maybe you're just not aware of how things should function, or you're just not used to it. Maybe there's something wrong with your truck. There's a couple drivers whose cruise control was low that I truly believe we knew there was a problem with their truck, and it's taken us some time to get it corrected.
Sure.
So I'm not judging them too harshly on that, right? If their truck was malfunctioning and they couldn't use the cruise control, obviously
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that. If everything's functioning though, and you're choosing not to use the cruise control, we really want to have a conversation about that.
The reason, we're one of the few carriers out there that still pays hub miles. We have flexibility in where we fuel. We really let the driver, we don't lock down locations or anything like that. And we're able to do that because for the most part, people make the best choices. And when they don't do that, we don't want to turn into one of those fleets that micromanage. So like Mark said about turning off the pedal and the cruise control and separating them, we don't want to do that. And if you need to be educated or want to, please make sure you contact Troy.
Yeah. Troy, me, Mike Larson.
Mike gets like 93% when he drives.
Mike does really well. Yeah, me and Mike drive that truck right there. When we drive, I did a couple trips in that thing just last month to Texas and back, and I was actually second in cruise percentage. Not bragging or anything, but it's pretty. I mean, honestly, it's pretty easy to run in Texas. However, Preston was nipping at my heels, and he runs almost nothing but California.
Yeah.
So, right, there's certainly an argument that you shouldn't use your cruise during inclement weather, right? You're not going to be using your cruise control if you're chained up or if you're driving in snow, things like that. However, we have several drivers that are above that 50% mark. I don't know exactly where. I think the percentage ought to be somewhere north of 50%.
I agree.
I don't know exactly where, but when I see a 1.6%, that's a problem.
Especially, Preston and Larry are both different routes, and they were both too high. So it shows that they're both metrics that are measurable that show it's possible. With all that being said, we want to end on a positive note. Overall, everybody that participated in the contest put in an effort to get better fuel mileage. Most of the people that got better used cruise control. We want to get to the bottom of who's not and why, and help educate that these safety measures that are on the truck not only help us be efficient, and so we can that's where raise money is going to come from when we're taking decreases from our customers this year. So it's super important that we're efficient and safe, that these systems work.
Yeah, he mentioned rates. It's a little rough out there. I don't know if anyone's been reading the news, but shippers and customers are not very forthcoming with rate increases today because there's a lot of competition for doing what we do. So the best place we can find money to give employees raises is going to be in efficiencies. There's places where we're not being efficient, and we need to go try and not spend that money so we have it to pass along to everyone that works here.
And we're working on, and we want to do.
Yeah. We've got a little committee put together that's evaluating driver pay and seeing what we can do with that moving forward. So help us help you. Do what you can. Use your cruise. If you, for some reason, don't think you can or you feel it's unsafe, let's have a conversation about it. Let's go for a drive. I look for any excuse I can to go drive a truck whenever
you and
possible.
Mark can team to Texas.
Yeah. Well, hey, no. You can follow me to Texas.
Right.
Yeah. Or the Bay. Wherever.
Yeah,
Phoenix.
the Bay. Sure.
We'll get a couple loads and let's go. All right, everybody.
Until next time,
Be careful out there.
drive safe.